Hey there, it's Derek here from Pacific Coast Auto in Japan, and we're looking at a 1991, so an early model, long wheelbase 5-door version of the 70 series Prado. Now this one here is the old Prado, and so it's got the older engine. A lot of the, well, old is relative. This was the first model of the 70 series Prado, and so it has the itty bitty little Hilux engine, which is a 2.4 turbo diesel engine. Good little engine. They don't like to be pushed too hot. If you're going to be doing any sort of like long distance hill climbing, I would recommend getting an oil cooler in there. You know, people say they have head issues, which they kind of do if you push them hard. Otherwise, they're known to be very reliable if you aren't going to be using them in extreme circumstances. Give you a little rev here. And it has like a super enjoyable, like old school, responsive diesel feel to it. I just love this engine. Okay, we'll pop out the key for the rest of the report. As you can see, the vehicle's huge. It doesn't come off in camera exactly how big it is, but this is where your shoulder is. And so the fender is shoulder height. And yeah, it's ginormous. Okay, so this one was bought from auction here in Japan. We're going to be sending this one over to the USA, Jacksonville to be specific. It is a 2L engine, 2LT, so it's a stock turbo on it. 2.4 liter. People know about the non-killable Hilux engine or 4Runner, I guess is what it's called. Hilux pickup, 4Runner, whatever it is. That's the same engine in this, just in 2.4 liter guys instead of 2.8 liter non-turbo. The 2.8 liter non-turbo is maybe a little bit more robust than this one is, because anytime you put a turbo on something, you're going to shorten the life a little bit. But I've seen these at over 300,000 kilometers without issue. This one here, we're at 151, so still plenty of life and still lots of parts that are available for replacing things on this. Everything appears to be stock in here. Nice big battery. Nice heat shielding there between your turbo and the your brake master. I'll lower the hood now, but I can't do it without climbing up because of the height. And so this is my one-handed climb up onto the bumper with the camera. You'll probably never see me do this sort of thing again. I literally have to stand on the bumper in order to close the hood. Okay, and make sure that is put away properly. And here we go. And jump down. Okay, we'll go over the auction inspection sheet first. I got to pull it down because I can't read it from way up there. So just go into the back seat here. And I've read over it. It's a 1991 Land Cruiser Prado EX5 version, 2.4 liter. It's a big 2.4, so it's actually 2,440 cc. Auction rate 3.5, interior C. Sunroof, power steering, power windows, and then 100 kilometers. I will say these early models, so cool. They have like seats that are embroidered turbo on them. They just feel a little bit more old school than the ones we usually buy, which have the 3-liter 1KZ engine in them. Okay, so it says purchase from user, one owner on it. Wow. Lift it up. And Fujitsubo aftermarket exhaust. Rancho shocks. Zeal springs. Owner's manual, aftermarket tail lights. 8-seater, so it's got the third row in here. Very cool. And then various modifications, so see in person for details. Aftermarket steering wheel, trim is scratched. Seats saggy and wear, interior dirty, aftermarket front and rear bumpers, underside surface rust, various scratches and dents. And then the body here, it says paint fade on the roof. It says W2 for repainted in this section here, and then the spare tire is missing. So having looked at it, I think the body is in pretty good condition. It is noticeable that the body has been repainted in some places, and it does have some paint fade in some areas as well. So do keep that in mind. Seeing this drive down the street, every Toyota fan, every Toyota truck fan, and I know there are a lot of you, is going to be very excited to see this. It is huge and it makes a good impression. It has blistered out aftermarket over fenders and then aftermarket over fender extenders in order to fit those giant tires. Let's have a quick look to see what the tire size is. Geolander MT, one of my favorite, all-time favorite off-road tires. DOT on here, it's a 37 by 12.5 R17, and it still has not plenty of tread, but at least 30 or 40% of the original tread. So definitely still usable. Let's go back around here. Now the license plate here, see where it says 33? That's an old school style license plate, and that's how you can tell it's been registered to the same person for the last 25 years is when they changed that. And it's from Wakayama. And EX5, never seen the EX5 badge on it. And you know, I've seen a ton of cars. I love seeing little quirky things like that, especially 70s and 80s stuff. Just, to me, looks so special. And this Land Cruiser, of course, this generation started in 84 for the Land Cruiser 70. The Prado, I think, must have started in 91. This must have been one of the first years of the Prado version of it, which is a little bit lighter duty because they get the smaller engine in it. Instead of the 6-cylinder, you get the 4-cylinder. There are some other differences as well. Okay, I can't get the whole thing in shot because it's huge, and I've got a jungle behind me. I'm not going to go travel in there because I'm sure there's like tarantulas or something. Okay, it is getting dark. We really wanted to shoot this faster, but there were some things that kept us up. Okay, so grill is a little bit faded. You'd either need to paint that or replace it. There are still tons of aftermarket parts for these, so it shouldn't be too much of trouble if you wanted to repaint it. This has gone kind of flat looking. Same with this, has turned a little bit yellow. Your aftermarket bumper fits into the grill quite nicely. Not into the grill, pardon me. Fits into the front frame section and then brings it up so that the bumper is a little bit higher. Has a set of rectangular fog lights, which, awesome. You got the rectangular lights on here. Put the rectangular fog lights on and it really looks of the era, right? Underneath, we have some aftermarket goodies. Right here, you can see there's this aluminum support piece for the frame, and so that looks like it's probably a 6-inch body lift, and then who knows how much of a suspension lift we have. Looks like larger springs as well as perches on the top to extend the spring perch height, and so overall lift is probably somewhere around 10 inches, if not a little bit more. It has a lateral rod that's aftermarket, which is necessary when you're lifting up this much, otherwise you're going to be way out. If you don't have this adjustable rod here, then your tires are going to go out on one side and in on the other side, so you need that to adjust it back into spec. And then yes, solid front axle, even on the Prado. And then a drop down there for the sway bar so that it can still be usable. Cool. Oh, we got a taxi coming, a JDM taxi. And it's available. We can go for a ride. Wouldn't that be so funny, Jacob? If I just, like, for the rest of the video, I just go for a ride in the taxi and then come back and continue.
Forget about the Land Cruiser. Let's go for a ride.
So down here, no troubles with rust. It looks like it has a plastic. They don't have these on the later model ones. This little trim of plastic here. Very cool to see that. And then this piece doesn't quite line up with the aftermarket pieces. I think these are actually made for the later model, which had a different section here. It's not too bad. Plus, with a vehicle like this, nobody's going to be looking at that little detail there. They're going to be like, how can I get one of those? Now looking down here, back to the underside, you can see it has, this is the, that would be a trailer arm if it's on the back. I don't know what it's called when it's on the front. A leading arm maybe? With a drop down for the mount on that. There's your drop down for the sway bar. And underneath here is looking mighty good. You can see that the body lift isn't just the pucks. It has the full support beam, so you're not going to have shaking in the chassis, which you sometimes do if it's just the puck style. It looks like a nice, good, expensive kit. And an aftermarket exhaust on here. Excellent. Okay, now in terms of the body here, having a little bit of wave, it's true, it's not too bad. And then there is a little bit of fade in the paint after it's been painted, but it's going to be hard to find. Like I can see it with my eyes right here, and it looks like scratches, but I don't know if you'll be able to see it in the video because it's subtle, and it depends on the lighting, and it depends on the angle. So there is that there. Have a little bit, like here's all glossy and nice looking. Both paints have been repainted, by the way. This is a little bit less glossy and it stands out a bit. The roof apparently has some fade, so let's get up here. It's quite honestly looking fine. And if the roof is faded, who's going to be seeing this? Jacob's a big boy, and he looks so small right now.
I'm actually on my knees.
Spare tires missing on the back, which you can't put this spare tire on because see how it's two doors that open separately? If you do put a big spare tire on there that matches the tires, you can no longer open this one. You have to be able to open this one to open this one. So yeah, can't have spare tires, but these mud tires are meant to never, ever, ever pop. They are designed to hit sharp rocks repeatedly without taking a puncture. Okay, so I heard that there's a little bit of fade up here, which there is, right here. Wasn't mentioned on the auction sheet, but by the look of it, the whole car is very good, and just little flaws like that aren't going to take away from the greatness that the car otherwise has. Okay, to the interior now, before the sun completely goes away. Right, Jacob?
Yeah, it came back real fast now.
Yeah. Okay, so oftentimes on these Land Cruisers, they get damaged cards in the back here because they are a cargo vehicle. I'm noticing a little bit of a weird lining in here. It doesn't, yeah, it's weird. Never seen that before. But fairly clean in here, no tears in the sides. Headrests on the back have been taken out and tucked in there. Very Japanese style of somebody to have done that. And this back row, so it makes it the 7-seater. So you're gonna have to help your kids to get up into the truck because they're not going to be able to get in themselves. I'm not joking about that either. Like, I used to have a lifted Dyna. Some of you guys know about that. My son couldn't get into it, which is still kind of cool because, like, Dad, help me. And I'm like, oh yes, this is what dads are for. One day you can drive one of these. So really clean carpet, really nice seats. Look how they laid out the seat belts. Again, kind of matches what they did with the headrests back there. I love seeing this kind of stuff. It's just like a whole other world sometimes. Now, oftentimes when you get these Land Cruisers, they've been smoked in, which this one doesn't seem so bad. Jacob, did you notice any cigarette smell inside?
No. The interior itself is actually really clean. Some marks on the seat, as we mentioned before, but overall, really good condition.
And for some reason, it's like Land Cruiser owners tend to take less care of their car, but at the same time, Land Cruiser can take a beating, so. And they're still worth so much in any condition that it's worth grabbing them when you can.
Yeah, this one seems to have escaped a hard life.
Yeah, it's remarkable.
Beautiful.
Tiny bit of sag here and some pilling on the seat. Let me know in the comments if you know another word for pilling. Jacob and I were talking about this beforehand. And then the headrests say turbo. I don't think any of the more modern ones ever got that. So the 60 series got the turbo seats. They actually said turbo right here in the back. And then these ones here, the early model Prado said turbo as well. Steering wheel is aftermarket, obviously. Let's hop up in here. Still has, I think, the original bagging on the sun visors there, which is fantastic. I love that. I can see the camera hunting for focus a little bit. Okay, field gauge here that lets you know you have like a altimeter, thermometer, inside and outside. CD player, MD player. Don't think it's been smoked in a very long time. I can see a little bit of ash remnant in there. AC working.
Working really nice, yeah.
AC is working really nice. That's good.
The dial, how you adjust it as well, is really interesting. It's like an inside dial on top of the dial.
Yeah, so if you guys haven't seen this before, I just take it for granted, but you have fan speed and a dial on the top and power of the AC and a dial below, so you can set how powerful your AC is. Pretty cool. Most cars, you can't do that. I can only think of Land Cruiser and maybe some other 80s cars that did that. Automatic transmission, quite a bit of wear on the e-brake handle. That's sun damage by the looks of it. And yeah, it smells nice in here, feels clean. This is absolutely a good truck. Okay, and yes, selectable four-wheel drive, so it's two-wheel drive normally and then lockable into four-wheel drive, and it's a full mechanical lock. It's not just a button, and so you'll know when you're in. You also have hub locks here, which are a power button, not like the manual ones that are on the the 70 series Land Cruiser, not the Prado version. And then a button there to, hold on. I'm speaking the wrong words. It is electronic switchable to four-wheel drive. It's manual between two-wheel, high gear ratio and low gear ratios here. That's what that knob's for. And I know that, but for some reason the words just come out weird. Has spring seats, so you set your weight. Right now you can tell that the previous owner was 78 kilograms. And this can be adjusted to whatever your weight is, and then it has springs in it to make the seat more comfortable. Very cool. Love that kind of stuff. Okay, we're going to have to shut this video down so that we can head back to the office. Hope you enjoyed the video. It's one of my all-time favorite cars, and I hope you enjoyed it as much as I did. Thanks so much for watching, and have a nice day.